Hello everyone. Today I will be introducing you to the V16 Pro cordless vacuum cleaner by the company that you can see there. Not completely sure how to say that. If you are interested in this vacuum, I will leave a link onto where I got it from Amazon in the description of the video. And with that said, let's get to the unboxing. Here is the box opened. Let's see what's inside. So obviously, you're going to get the instruction booklet, which comes complete with an extra filter, as well as the cleaning brush for the vacuum. We have the actual vacuum head located right here. And this comes complete with green LEDs in the front, which we'll talk about later. And the brush roll is a non-tangled or tangle resistant brush roll. Next, we have the actual attachments that come with the vacuum. Let's take it out of the bag. A little difficult to do one-handed, but we will get there. This is called a multi-tool in that it has a brush on the end, just like this. Good for dusting or anything like that. And if you do not want the brush, no problem. You see this button? You just press it and it slides down to be like a crevice tool. Let's take this large foam away and we will reveal the dock. Try to get it out. Obviously, this goes on the wall, and this will charge the vacuum cleaner if you attach the power cord to it. In addition, if you look at the two side things right here, there, and there, that will store your tools. And obviously, this is the power cord that allows the unit to charge. And that's what it looks like inside. Here is the pole for the vacuum. This is a telescoping pole. Again, I'll go over that a little bit later. We have another tool. This is a crevice tool. You can get into corners really well with this. And then finally, what we've all been waiting for, at least what I've been waiting for, the hero of the box, the actual unit. Let's take it out of the bag. It's actually prettier in person than in the picture. This is the body of the unit, and this I'm going to go through in great detail. The blue is actually on the end. Looks like it's transparent, which is nice. That's where the battery goes on the bottom. And then finally, very last thing we have, you guessed it, we have the battery. The thing that's going to bring this to life. And this just slides onto the bottom. Let's go ahead and take a look at the vacuum in detail, and I will tell you why this vacuum cleaner is the one that you will want to buy. Now let's take a look at how this vacuum functions, and like I said, why this vacuum is above all others. Let's start from the lowest part of the vacuum head. And here it is. One of the things I absolutely love about this vacuum head is this right here. This is truly a no-tool head cleaner. All that you have to do, and let's see if I can do this with one hand, is this right here. You flip it up. I don't know if you heard that click, but this came undone. And now the whole thing just comes right out. Just like that, nothing easier. You then clean this. Make sure that end goes right into there. That is the motor that spins the brush. And then this can just be plopped right back into here, and then click it in, and you're ready to go. Nothing easier. I absolutely love this. I actually have another vacuum from this company, and it has the same kind of mechanism, same kind of brush too, so I can say this is definitely a brush that does not tangle very easily. So I love it for that. And it honestly has been an incredible breeze to keep clean with this little button. Press it. It's fantastic. Like I said, it does have green LEDs in the front, and I will show that later on. Green I find is actually better than the white LEDs because green is contrasting to the light in the room. Even during the daylight, the sun coming in, green is still contrasting. So I feel that it shows the dirt and the dust more. Obviously, white LEDs are better than no LEDs, but I do prefer the green because it does show up more. And for those wondering, yes, light on a vacuum cleaner does show dirt that you cannot normally see. Next we have the pole. Now this pole is cool because it is telescoping. So this red button here is the button that you press in order to extend this or collapse it. In this case it's already collapsed, so we're going to extend it by pressing this button and raising it up. Now it's actually very easy to do. I'm doing it one-handed because I'm holding the camera. But it does go pretty far. And you might be wondering, well, why would I want to do that? Obviously, if two people are in the house, one is shorter, one is taller, you can adjust it to your comfort. But even if it's just you, if you're vacuuming normally and you go on the stairs, you might want to extend it or collapse it just simply to make cleaning your stairs easier. That's what I do with it. And now my favorite part, the actual body of the unit. Why I love this so much. One of my favorite things, and I will never buy a vacuum unless it has this feature. This button here, this switch is not to turn the vacuum on. It is not to turn it on. You turn the vacuum on by using this button here. Okay, the one on the left. The one on the right is to adjust the speeds. This button actually opens the dustbin like that. Let me show that again. That's just fantastic. Closing it is easy. You just simply push it closed. Again, I apologize. I don't have a setup where I can actually tripod the camera, so I apologize about that. Now, why is that good? Quite frankly, your hands won't get covered in dirt. Typically, vacuum cleaners have the button, I don't know why, on the very end of the dust cup. So you push the button, that would be pretty much right there. The dust cup will pop open and the dust will go all over your hand. Not here. Again, a simple flip, dump, and the trash is out. Can't get any easier. Can't get any cleaner. I absolutely love this feature. Now, you have to be careful that you're getting the correct vacuum, because there are some vacuums that look like this, but they don't have these wonderful features. For example, I saw one vacuum when I was researching this, had the actual release where that red button is, close to where that red button is. So you really want to make sure you get this particular one, because it is just fantastic. So you might want to know what exactly is that red button. Well, there's two of those buttons, one on this side and one on the other side. This will release the dustbin from the main body. And to do that, first let me close this. You take your hands, either side, push them in, and the dustbin just comes right out very, very easily. Another thing I love about this vacuum, once this bin is out, you will notice another button. Why is that button there? To open the dustbin. Why do we want that there? Well, let's say you're cleaning out the dustbin and you accidentally close it. In other vacuum cleaners, you would have to reinstall this dustbin, pull the trigger on the vacuum to open the dustbin. Not here. There's the button, press it. This is literally the best of all worlds, and I absolutely love it. I have never seen another vacuum that has something like this. Here's what it looks like. This up here is the filter. I will take the filter out to show you. Whoops. And this is also what came in the instruction booklet. This one comes installed in the vacuum cleaner, and you get an extra one in the instructions like I showed you. So you get two filters with this vacuum cleaner, and here it is. And installing it is a breeze. You just take it, push it in here, take it out the same, you just pull it out. I do want to show you, this vacuum cleaner is multi-cyclonic. That's what those holes are. And obviously that's the cyclone. The reason this is important is, I suppose we can say this is my opinion, but I feel vacuums that are multi-cyclonic work better. I find that they are stronger. And vacuums that are not multi-cyclonic have a filter down inside the dustbin. And you might think, well, that's fantastic. Except that filter gets dirty extremely quickly, and you're going to be spending so much time cleaning it. This method is so much better. Let me take this out. To remove this, and this is something else I really love about this vacuum cleaner. If you look here, you have a place to grip on that side, and then a place to grip on this side. Now I'm doing this one-handed, so it might look like I'm struggling, but it's actually easy. It's just a bit harder when you're doing it one-handed. Me. Okay, so that was a two-handed job, so I did pause the recording, and now I have it loosened up. But again, it's still very easy. You just pull it out. This is the cyclone. Give you a good look. There it is inside. And you can see the holes that I was talking about through there. Similarly, if you look at this side, you can see at the bottom. The fact that this is removable is something not many people think about, but this is a must. There are some vacuum cleaners where this is actually not removable. The problem with that is, as you vacuum, this will get dirty. It will get covered in dust. If you have cats like I do, it will get clay inside, and this piece will just get filthy. One of the vacuums that I had a long time ago died because this piece was not removable. Therefore, I was not able to clean this out. The only way to clean it is to send it into the company. This negates that problem. Because you just remove it from the body, run water through here, as well as through there, and boom, you've got a clean cyclone ready to go. And this is something that I would do every time you clean the filters. It's very easy, and quite frankly, there's no reason not to. And this is the mesh. There's some screws down there. So if this gets really, really clogged and you find putting water in there won't work, you could probably take this apart further by unscrewing those, but that I'm not completely sure of. And just to show you, this is the motor that obviously the filter covers. This is where the dirt goes through. So it goes in here. Through this here, out there, into the canister. Like I said, to turn the vacuum on, you're going to be pressing this button here. To change the speed, you have low, medium, high. You will press this button here. Going back to the cyclone, you will notice that the very tip is not only long, but it's also very thin. What does that mean? Well, it means several things. Number one, when you empty your dust cup, it is going to be easy to empty. You are not going to have the dirt stuck on this part, because there's nothing for it to get stuck on. It's just going to slide right off into the trash can. Secondly, it also means you don't have a gigantic thing in your dust cup taking up room. A lot of vacuums, this piece is very narrow, very thin, and it's just this big chunky thing taking up your whole entire dustbin. Not only in some vacuums is this thing smaller, but then it frails out on the bottom, almost like a table, to be honest. Which means you then have to shove your hand up there and pull it out. Not in this case. Like I said, I have another vacuum from this company, and I have never, ever had a problem with emptying it. Look at all that room in that dustbin. That is just incredible. From another angle. To put this vacuum cleaner back together again is really easy. First, okay, so you will see this little square right here. That little square you want to line up with this square. Take it, put it in, just like that. See how it's lined up? Push it in, boom, it is in there. You do want to make sure that the bottom is lined up down there. Can you see that? So that isn't good. You want to make sure that you have your filter. Here's your filter. It is smaller on the bottom than it is on the top. You can see that right here. The smaller part goes in here, and you just push it in. You then take your canister. The red button actually goes down like this on the body, just like that. You have a lip right up here on top. You want to make sure that this part on the canister that little tab, that little hole, goes into this here lip. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed, but let's see what happens. If I'm unable to, then I will pause the video, but this is not meant to do one-handed. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this one-handed, so I will be right back. Okay, so here is the vacuum again. I did not push anything down. All that I did was line it up, and now all that you can see, it's not engaged. Take it, push it in, you hear the snap. It's finished. It's that simple. To install the battery is going to go down here, and it is going to slide in. Let's take this off. Just like that. And let's grab the battery. Here it is. Again, this button here is to release the battery. You know, what's really cool about this is it's got an arrow that also shows you the direction you have to pull the battery out. To charge the battery, there are two methods. One method, you can just simply plug it into the wall. If you don't want to charge it in the vacuum, maybe you have two batteries and you want to charge one outside the vacuum while you're vacuuming with your other battery, you can definitely do that. The other method is to simply charge it while it is connected to the vacuum cleaner, either by plugging it into the wall directly or plopping it into the charger that I showed you earlier. Let me show you the battery before I put it in. And there. Let's do the connectors there. And then I'll show you a closer up. Okay. Now we just take the battery, and to put it on, you can see it goes through that way. And you slide it back like this, and then it's going to click in place. Whoops. Okay, like that. Now this vacuum is ready to go. To put on your tools, it's pretty much like every other vacuum out there. You will take your pole right here, plug it right into that. Again, you'll hear a click. And your accessories will go on the other end. Let's grab the head of the vacuum cleaner now, which is right here. The final thing I want to say that also makes this vacuum cleaner stand out is that this vacuum is self-standing. So when you're using it, it's really easy to leave the vacuum in the middle. Let's say your phone rings or something, you just turn it off and it'll stand on its own. Now, as you can see, it does say right here to fully charge the battery before use for the best suction. So that is what we're going to do. So when I wake up tomorrow, I am going to use the vacuum, say my thoughts on it after use, and I am also going to show you how it stands on its own. So I'll see you then. Now it is the next day, and we're going to take another look at the vacuum cleaner. First of all, here it is freestanding. And freestanding, it is actually quite sturdy. I can knock into it like this, and it does not fall. And in my opinion, I am giving it a good little shove. Let's turn it on and see what the screen looks like. Again, to turn it on, you're going to press the power button, which is on the left-hand side. So you have the battery display, which is now at 100 because I just charged it. The green ring going around is the power, as well as the two blue dots. When I increase power, that ring will change to yellow, and you will see more blue dots on the bottom, indicating that it is going faster. And then it'll turn red when I press it again. That is the highest speed. My house all has wood floor or tile, so I typically vacuum at a low speed. I did put some dirt on the floor. Now it is a little bit more than I usually vacuum up at one time. It is a chunk. I don't usually vacuum that up. But let's see if this vacuum can do that. Since it is self-standing, when you tilt it back, the head will go up, so you got to lower it with your foot. Whoops. Turn it on. Again, I'm at low, and let's see how it does. And it is actually in the canister. Now I did pick up the vacuum a bit because it really was a very thick chunk. So it was pushing against the head. Again, normally you're not going to have such a large chunk like that. That came off of my cat scratcher. I am now going to vacuum the rest of the house, and I will come back and let you know what I think of the vacuum, as well as show you how it empties. Okay, I just finished vacuuming the house, and here is the vacuum filled with dirt. I don't usually let the vacuum get so filled. I usually empty it before this point, but I figured we could see how it empties together when it is this full. One of the nice things I like about these vacuums in the past is that when I do vacuum, I'll admit sometimes I forget that I'm vacuuming and I just go and it fills up. This particular vacuum has an icon. Obviously it's not on now, but it has an icon that will illuminate when this canister is full, not when it is clogged, when it is full. That means it's pretty much impossible to overfill this canister. That of course helps with the vacuum breakage. It'll help prevent that, and it's just a really cool feature. So that light will illuminate and the vacuum will turn off, so telling you that you need to empty this canister. Now this isn't at capacity, so that didn't happen. If I vacuumed a little bit more, it probably would have gone. But I did vacuum the entire house. I got about 30% battery remaining, which is pretty good for me. Let's go ahead and empty it and see how that works. Again, I am going to pull out. You see my finger is on the trigger, far away from the dirt. There's the dirt. And we're going to pull it. Here we go. On 3, 1, 2, 3, goodbye dirt. Do a little shake and it's that easy. It just all fell out. All of that hair and debris and that dirt. We have 3 cats, 2 litter boxes. There was litter on the floor, hair and fur, and all of that just fell right in there without me having to put my hands up in there and pulling things out. It's just incredible. I'm sorry to go on about that topic, but for me, not having to shove my hand inside a canister and getting all filthy is probably one of the most important things to me in a vacuum cleaner. So I'm going to put this vacuum away and I will discuss my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on this vacuum cleaner. First of all, it is now fully extended. And despite it being fully extended, I can give it a little push and it is still not falling over. I've never seen that before. Using this vacuum was a real pleasure. Like I stated, the green LEDs lit up the area beautifully. I was able to see all of the dirt, just suck it all up. So easy to use. It is just a fantastic vacuum. It's kind of like I've used many vacuums in the past, and there have been things that I loved about those vacuums and things that I've hated about those vacuums. This particular vacuum here, it's as if they took every single thing that I love about all of the vacuums that I used in the past and just jammed it into one vacuum cleaner. This is the vacuum that I have been waiting for my entire life. And I know I might be sounding like I'm kind of pushing it or exaggerating a little bit, but this really is an amazing vacuum. I am disabled. There's no cords for me to have to deal with, which makes vacuuming that much easier for me. As you saw, emptying was a breeze, and I took the vacuum apart. Taking it apart and cleaning it is also going to be an absolute breeze because everything is just so easy to get to handle. It's equally as easy to put back together again. The attachments click on and off very easy. There's no struggling to click anything in place. The head, the vacuum head on the floor there, if the roller was to get stuck with dirt, no problem. I don't have to look for any tools, flip a switch, clean it out. I am done. There's really nothing easier. Even extending the pole up and down, very easy. Removing this, I've had some vacuums where taking this off to clean it was so difficult, and then putting it back on, lining it up, and clicking it back on was so hard. Now you do have to line this one up, but it's so easy to do, and it clicks in place so easily. I just don't have the words. Even the battery was easy to get on and off. The only thing I would do, and that's just my personal preference because I like having two batteries, is I would get a second battery so that I have one while this one is charging. But yeah, if you are looking for a vacuum, I 100% recommend this one. Thank you for listening. I hope this video has been informative. If you would like more information, if I didn't cover something, if you have any questions, go ahead and post it down below if, of course, you're watching on YouTube, and I will do my best to answer any questions. Thanks so much for watching. Talk with you later.